But first-year coach Kristen Veal is maintaining the faith. Her side capable of challenging teams in patches. Now they need to put together 4 solid quarters to start getting rewarded on the scoreboard. Last season's runners-up, the Perth Lynx, are also in a rebuild of sorts. They've had a tough early schedule. 5 of their 7 matches against top 4 opponents. 3 straight losses have seen them fall off the pace, making tonight's clash a must-win affair. It's round 7 WNBL action. It's the Caps and the Lynx at the National Convention Centre in Canberra. Good evening and welcome to our ESPN WNBL Game of the Week, proudly supported by Cygnett, Australia's leading tech brand. We're here every Wednesday night on Australia's home of hoops. Jason Bennett alongside the great Laurie Chiswick for Canberra and Perth. And normally we're on camera. You're going to keep us off camera for that part? If you want to, that's fine. It actually worked okay. Laurie, critical night for both teams, particularly the Lynx. Ryan Petrick really put it on his players to lift their intensity, find some form, because this is game 1 of a 5-week stretch that could define their season.
And they would certainly want to come away from this road trip at least splitting it. We know they lost to Townsville, so they have the opportunity to beat the Capitals. But crucial for the Capitals to finally get that first win in front of their home crowd. So they'll be really keen to come out firing as well. Plenty
for both sides to play for tonight as we check the league ladder through 6 rounds of action, and 2 teams have currently cleared out at the top. The Bendigo Spirit and the Melbourne Boomers. They've won 14 of their combined 15 games this season to open up a handy break over the Fire and the Flyers. Now, it's this middle section of the ladder that's most interesting. The Fire, Flyers, Lightning and Lynx all potentially in the mix for those 3rd and 4th spots. The Lynx entering a critical phase of their season. Tonight's game followed by clashes with Adelaide, Sydney, Southside, Sydney again. All winnable games if they can find their form, Laurie, and particularly on the glass where they were ranked number 1 for defensive rebounds, but they've certainly fallen away in that category in recent times. Ryan Petrick just wants to see more effort.
Well, that's the joy of our league, isn't it? That you right now it's still undecided. Yes, there's a top 2 out there, but anything can happen. It's a long season. We're about a third of the way through right now. So Perth would still be liking their chances as long as they keep building every game.
Let's welcome in the 3rd member of our commentary team this evening as we head courtside. It's good evening and welcome to Megan Huswaite.
Good evening, guys. Shanice Swain has inserted herself into the Canberra starting 5 this season, but she is not playing tonight. She's back home in Cairns with her family after a death in the family this week. So our thoughts are with Shanice and her family. Speaking of Canberra, the recruit Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger is upstairs at the moment on the massage table. Her return to the WNBL is imminent, according to coach Kristen Veal. Of course, she hasn't played since the start of this year after being injured in the Euro Cup. For Perth, it's been a long week. Literally, they left home last Friday, went to Townsville, lost, arrived in Canberra on Sunday. They've been here for the last few days, training and getting ready for tonight, but they've had some fun gelling as a team along the way too. They went to an escape room yesterday after practice and had Kris Kringle last night. So hopefully those things might hold them in good stead for a team win this evening.
Thanks, Megs. I actually talked to Ryan Petrick straight after the escape room. I said, how'd you go? He said, no, we didn't make it out. But no one ever does. Well, Laurie, let's dive into your keys to the game. We're going to start with the Caps. They're on their longest losing streak in 5 years. How do they start to turn this around?
Well, first for me is shot selection. They only shoot 23% from the 3-point line, so they really need clarity in what they have with their offensive roles. They need to attack more because they're very good from the free-throw line, having shot 84%. Control the tempo. A grind-out, low-scoring game suits Canberra more than it does Perth. And finally, know your defensive schemes. They give up 98 points per game, so they've got to really lock in defensively.
And for the Lynx tonight, what are the keys to success for Perth?
Well, I think number 1, and we'll talk about it all night, is blocking out. They allowed Townsville 19 O boards, resulting in 20 points, second chance points. And Canberra's a good rebounding team. Secondly, I think they need to have active hands. They need to get more deflections, try and be a little bit more disruptive defensively. And finally, care and share. Take care of the basketball. 19 turnovers is too many, but they do share it well, and they need to continue to do that.
That's where we'll mention the starting 5s if they come up, and then we'll talk about Bunton and Scherf, Melbourne and Whitcomb, and then we're just kind of patting a tip from there. Ruby. Ruffy.
The head coach, Kristen Veal, assistant coaches, Angus Burke, Sarah Graham, and Hayden Barnett. Would you now please be upstanding for our national anthem?
Step back three. That's a good shot for three.
Stepping through off the window, good. Stepping through the raindrops and the finish on the right hand.
And then it's going to Perth's way with back-to-back threes. The Bombers a WNBL chance.
Round 7 of the Cygnett WNBL tips off with a Wednesday night clash between two teams desperate to turn their form line around. The Canberra Capitals have been doing it tough in year 1 of their rebuild, but first-year coach Kristen Veal is maintaining the faith. Her side capable of challenging teams in patches. Now they need to put together 4 solid quarters to start getting rewarded on the scoreboard. Last season's runners-up, the Perth Lynx, also in a rebuild of sorts. They've had a tough early schedule, 5 of their 7 matches against top 4 opponents. 3 straight losses has seen them fall off the pace, making tonight's clash a must-win affair. It's round 7 WNBL action. It's the Caps and the Lynx at the National Convention Centre in Canberra. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our ESPN WNBL Game of the Week, proudly supported by Cygnett, Australia's leading tech brand. We're here every Wednesday night on Australia's home of hoops. Jason Bennett alongside the great Laurie Chiswick for Canberra and Perth. And Laurie, a critical game for both these teams for different reasons. For Perth, well, Coach Ryan Petrick wants to see more intensity, more effort. They need a lift in form.
Well, they would really be hoping that they came away from this last couple of games. So they've been on the road against Townsville, they lost. So they'd want to split it and make sure they come up with a win. And certainly for Canberra, they are just desperate to get that first win on the board. And in front of their home crowds would be amazing. So both teams will be really fired up, ready to go.
Let's check the league ladder through 6 rounds of action, and 2 teams have currently cleared out at the top. The Bendigo Spirit and the Melbourne Boomers. They've won 14 of their combined 15 games this season to open up a handy break over the Fire and the Flyers. And it's the middle section of the ladder which is most interesting right now. The Fire, Flyers, Lightning and Lynx all potentially in the mix for 3rd and 4th spot. The Lynx entering a critical phase of their season. They've got some winnable games ahead. They just want to see more effort, more intensity, particularly on the glass tonight. Well, let's welcome in the 3rd member of our commentary team this evening as we head courtside. Good evening and welcome to Megan Huswaite. G'day, Megs.
Good evening, guys, from Canberra. Shanice Swain not playing with the Caps tonight, unfortunately. She's had a family death and she's home with her loved one, so thoughts with her at this time. On to Alison Chuagmai, Belgian now, the big recruit. She's on the massage table upstairs. Her debut for Canberra imminent, according to coach Kristen Veal. And Perth, it's been a long week for them. They arrived from Townsville here in Canberra on Sunday. They've had a few days of practice and some team bonding. They went to an escape room yesterday and then had a team Kris Kringle last night. Maybe that team bonding will help with the team performance and win tonight.
Thanks, Meg. So I spoke to Ryan Petrick straight after the escape room. I asked him, how'd you go? He said, no, we never made it out. No one ever does, Laurie. No one ever does. These things, they're a trap. Let's dive into your keys to the game. Let's start with the Caps. They're in their longest losing streak in 5 years. How do they start to turn this around?
First thing, shot selection. They shoot 27% from the 3-point line, so they need to have clarity in what their offensive roles are. Attack the ball, attack the rim more. They've got some really good foul shooters. Secondly, control the tempo. A grind them out, low-scoring game suits them more than it does Perth. And finally, defensive schemes. They've got to be on point with that because they average 98 points per game against them. Last 3 games have been better, but defense is key.
And from a Lynx perspective, what are the keys for Perth tonight to snap this 3-game losing streak?
Well, I think the #1 priority is blocking out and rebounds. They allowed Townsville 19 offensive rebounds, which resulted in 20 second chance points. Canberra's a good rebounding team, so that's got to be a focus. Have active hands. They need to be more proactive than reactive. They don't score that many fast breaks points, and they can get some easy baskets. Care and share. Take care of the basketball. Limit turnovers. And continue to share the ball around like they do so well.
A couple of changes to the starting 5 for each team this evening. As Megan mentioned, no Shanice Swain out of the lineup for Canberra. Her place has been taken by Ray Burrell, who's back from a foot injury. Be on managed minutes tonight, as is Britt Smart. They're both recovering from injuries to their feet. And then from a Perth perspective, well, Amy Atwell out of the lineup and Alex Sharp has come in. So a couple of changes there as the coaches just look for a different mix, Laurie.
Well, they do. They want to, and they want to reward players that have done well. Alex Sharp had a great game against Townsville. Amy Atwell probably a little underdone, so he's made the switch, and to see. Amy will come off the bench, I'm sure, and show some good things. But right now, it's about Alex Sharp into that starting lineup.
It's going to be a great matchup between Alex Bunton and Lauren Scherf. Scherf #1 blocks per game, #1 defensive, #2 for defensive rebounds. Bunton #1 for offensive rebounds in the competition. We've spoken about the significance of the glass tonight. Two teams who need a win for different reasons. Canberra desperate to open their account. Perth fighting to keep in touch. Our round 7 ESPN WNBL game of the week. The Caps and the Lynx in Canberra. And it'll be Perth to start with possession. Here is Lauren Scherf. Feeds it through. Nice start for the Lynx on the board early. Alex Sharp, rather.
There's a great read by Alex Sharp. Her player overplayed her. Backdoor cut straight in for an easy basket.
Quick response. Yes, indeed. Nicole Munger. And both teams are on the board in the opening seconds. Hasn't Nicole Munger been a handy pickup mid-season? Sammy Whitcomb lets one fly early. Won't go.
She has been great. The games that she's played, every single one, she's gotten better and better. She's leading their team right now with 12.7 points per game, but she's just been so solid, rock solid for them.
Such a workhorse, so passionate. Great influence off court as well in this young group. So as you can hear there, shot clock at 14. The ref's just conferring with the scoring bench.
And it's good they do that to make sure that they've got the calls right and the shot clock correct.
And away we go again. Ryan with the inbounds. Whitcomb tries to work under the hoop. Scherf puts it on the floor against Bunton. What a critical matchup this is going to be tonight. Scherf got to a good spot. Off hands. Caps ball.
Well, the thing about Bunton and Scherf is really for their respective teams, they're the only legit bigs out there. So they need to be an inside presence offensively and defensively. So the matchup with those two is going to be fascinating.
Perpetual motion of Jade Melbourne. Munger loses the handle, and here's Sammy Whitcomb. Back in the other direction. Scherf. Bibby having a fine year. Ranked 6th in the competition for scoring. Won't drop on this occasion. Bunton hands off to Melbourne. Melbourne versus Whitcomb. That's going to be a great battle to watch. The youngster and the veteran head-to-head. Speaking of veterans, Britt Smart. Off to Munger. Bunton provides a screen. Munger goes herself. What a breath of fresh air she's been for the Caps.
Well, I like that they're not just settling for three-point shots early. They're trying to get their feet in the paint, whether that's through pass or dribble penetration. Nice pull-up jump shot.
Scherf feeds it through to Ryan. Wants to go to work on Burrell and does it really well. Nicely done, Robbie Ryan.
Just got Burrell in the air, that little bit of a shot faking. You can just hear the coaches saying, stay on your feet.
To Burrell, to Melbourne. And Bunton back to Jade. Goes herself, beautiful finish and one.
You can just see the energy in both teams. Like that finish by Melbourne here, great job. Has to really extend the arm. Then just a little fist pump afterwards. She likes it, her teammates like it. A lot of energy happening for both teams.
Certainly an energy player, Jade Melbourne. Everywhere she's been, has that intensity. Gives every play 100% and makes the extra. Nice start here for Canberra. Settled into the game well. Whitcomb against Melbourne. Step back from Sammy. Rattles out. Slapped away. Can Bibby control it? She can. Scherf. Sharp. Takes on Burrell. Gets to the rack. Doesn't finish. And away comes Melbourne again. Wants to blast past Ryan, who forces her to the corner. Burrell. She'll go herself. Bunton off hands. Caps ball.
These are two bigs battling it out inside.
Let's head courtside. Here's Megs.
Well, Laurie just spoke about the energy Jade Melbourne is bringing early in this first quarter. It's certainly mirrored by the crowd here at the NCC, and it's a credit to the Caps. Despite being winless, they're pulling in really healthy home crowds. They've got a pep in their step tonight. I reckon they think it could be the night they come through with the goods.
Burrell, thanks Megs. Lovely block there from Scherf. Leads the league in blocks this season. Ryan wants to take on Smart and gets to the hoop.
Great use of her physicality, Ryan. Absorbed the bump by Smart and then just is able to finish strongly.
So Melbourne and Whitcomb again. Munger, Burrell, Smart versus Ryan. Shot clock down to 5. Britt kicks it back out. Long range shot is good from Alex Bunton.
See, I like that. I like that play phase. There was a good ball reversal, punched it in. The defense collapsed it a little bit. Bunton wide open, found herself wide open at the three-point line.
Perth not a team that defend the big shooting from range. They're happy to give up those shots and take the percentages that Bunton is going to miss that more than she makes it. But on that occasion, she drains it and they lead by 4. She'll now go against Scherf. Works to position. Good start here, Alex Bunton.
I feel like there's a real directive to get the ball inside. However they do that, get the ball inside, which I really like.
Ryan tries to get to the rack once more, and here's Bunton over the top. What a start she's made. As Laurie mentioned, Bunton and Scherf, such a huge role to play tonight. Melbourne's wide open. Great start, Canberra. They are up by 9 early.
I'm not surprised that Ryan Petrick has called a timeout to stem the flow of this momentum. He needs to cut that out straight away.
So they might be 0-7, but Kristen Veal says if you walk into the gym, you wouldn't know it. The vibe's been great, the belief's been great. Here's what she had to say to the media yesterday.
You can start to feel it rising and developing in the way that we want to today. So just again, it's just going to come back down to a little bit more discipline and fighting some urges that they've gotten away with that youthful players do. And then we get smaller wins like, a 10-point margin or a 5-point margin, and then ultimately we'll end up getting a win.
Just putting the foundation in place, Laurie. She came out early, she had a game plan at the start of the season, then realised she didn't have the cattle to execute that game plan. So she simplified things, and now she's in education mode. She's teaching.
And they are absorbing it. They are really buying into what she's having to say because they can see the improvement. And when you can see that, and you can see that they're getting better, because I was speaking to Britt Smart and saying what's motivating people right now, because it's hard starting a season 0 and 0-7, and she said that exact thing. They've changed, they're getting better, they still have a long way to go, but they can see and feel improvement every single night.
Great start for Alex Bunton on the board with 5 points already. Jade Melbourne's got 6 and Munger 4. That's the 15 points for Canberra, who lead by 9 as we approach the midway point of the opening term. So let's see how Perth respond. Scherf, Ryan, open shot here for Bibby, they needed it. So can Perth get a little bit of momentum back here? Melbourne. Here's Munger. Pizzi into the game. Back to Jade. Feeds it through to Beck Pizzi. Works off Bibby and finishes. Megan Huswaite was in both huddles.
I scooted between both huddles, and no surprises, Alex Bunton was the key word in both. In Perth, Ryan Petrick wanting a better defensive effort on her, but they also want to get Chloe Bibby into the game, which we've seen now again for a second possession. And in the Canberra huddle, Kristen Veal certainly encouraging her players to continue to go inside to Alex Bunton, but to also continue to look for Jade Melbourne and Nicole Munger.
Thanks, Megs. Well, they try to get Chloe Bibby into the game. Laurie, it's worked. She's got to the line.
She has. First a nice easy corner jumper, and then gets herself straight to the foul line by driving it in hard.
And then comes in to contest that ball against Beck Pizzi and does enough to retain possession here for Perth. So margin sits at 7.
Sometimes that's all it takes is a timeout, a word from your coach, just get you refocused, get you re-involved.
Bibby shot won't go. Canberra come away with it through Lizzie Tonks. Melbourne. Pizzi. Back to Jade Melbourne. What a finish.
That is tough. The timing of that, the timing of her cut, the pass, and then the finish.
A lot of coordination required there, Laurie. There's plenty of moving parts in that play.
Well, it was because Lauren Scherf had come across from split line, had her hands up. Melbourne recognized that and had to really just get it off her fingertips quickly.
Such a talented junior, came through the ranks originally from Traralgon down in Gippsland in Victoria. Spent some time at the Melbourne Boomers as a development player. Elected not to go to college, stayed in Australia. And is forging her career in the WNBL and getting opportunities with the Opals. Here's Scherf. Atwell wraps around, wants to take on Smart. Forced to kick it out. Bibby versus Melbourne. Shot clock down to 5. Chloe puts up the shot. Nice finish again.
Well, she is certainly getting herself involved. If you say get involved, coach, I will get involved. Another great basket by Bibby.
Marching back to 8. Entertaining opening term in Canberra. Smart gets to a position she likes. Away comes Ryan. Will she take on Burrell again? Scherf. Sharp. Gets to the baseline. Draws a foul on Britt Smart. Smart player, Alex Sharp. 25-year-old, originally from the Diamond Valley in Victoria, another to go up to Canberra, the centre of excellence. Went over to Wake Forest in the US for a college career. Just coming in to the prime years of her career, really now, at the age of 25, Laurie. Her best years now ahead of her, where she's got the physical capability and now the experience and the IQ that she's developed through all those experiences.
I think she's just maturing as a player and her confidence in what she can do, what she can bring to the team. And it's really nice when you watch the progress of a player like an Alex Sharp.
Melbourne. Bunton. Stripped. Away comes Atwell. Can she start to get involved? Kicks it back out to Ryan. Little shimmy on Tonks. Works hard, gets to the rack. Flying in was Bibby. Canberra ball. Perth would love to get Amy Atwell involved, Laurie. She's been another one of these impressive youngsters, but she went scoreless against Townsville. She'd love to hit the scoreboard and get a bit of confidence as well.
Well, she's an excellent three-point shooter, and she just couldn't find the net against Townsville, but I have no doubt that, you know, she's certainly capable of scoring some big numbers, and they need her involved.
Munga to Melbourne. Here's Bunton again. They leave her wide open. Perth happy to concede that shot to the bigs and get in a position to rebound it, but Canberra get it back. Melbourne to the strike, and she knocks it down.
I'm loving the return of the pull-up jump shot, getting by that first line of defense and then pulling up. You see more and more players doing that and are so accurate.
Jade up to 11 points already. Canberra have 22 and lead by 9. Nice feed, and there is Atwell getting involved.
Again, just a smart player, smart read of your defense. If they're overplaying, you backdoor cut hard to the basket.
Super start here from Jade Melbourne, already into double figures. Again, she's open. Again, she takes it. Bunton over the top, slaps it away, but it'll be a Perth ball. And with just over 2 minutes remaining in the opening term, it's Canberra by 7 points.
Pretty impressive stat line for the Caps right now. They're shooting the ball at 66%, 100% from the three-point line. They've made really good shot selection decisions.
Taya Burrows in the game here for the Lynx with the carry. Bounce pass to Ryan. Got a bit of space to work in and gets the roll. Can they find an answer here for Jade Melbourne, who's been electrifying in the opening quarter? Burrell gets it back from Munga. Works to the baseline. Pulls up, rattles out, rolled around. And a scrap on the deck. Clinch Hoyard versus Britt Smart. Canberra with plenty of positive energy in this opening quarter. They flew out of the blocks, took an early lead. They still hold it by 5 as Perth get their feet underneath them a little bit in the last couple of minutes, Laurie. They've at least stemmed the bleeding and stabilised the situation.
They have, and you can't hold a good team down, and we know that, you know, Perth have lots of scoring powder. I'm just a little bit interested that Sammy Whitcomb has sat for a while.
Bunton, Munga and Melbourne. Alex calls for it in the corner. They work it back that same way round the arc. Melbourne now inside to Bunton. Back out to Jade. They're probing for an opening. Jade will go herself. Little floater. No good. Scherf to Atwell. Goes herself against Munga. Draws the foul and one. Amy Atwell starting to get involved here for Perth as they close the gap.
It's really great when somebody like Atwell, so she's been in the starting lineup, she didn't have a good game, she's come off the bench now, and instead of hanging her head, she's gone out there now and gone, yep, I can contribute, I can go hard at this, and she's starting to have an impact on this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that court signing is prohibited. Basketball Australia prohibits the action of court signing.
Sammy Whitcomb having plenty to say in the Perth timeout as Ryan Petrick comes in to address his troops.
Otherwise, as long as it's all contested, we're good. And then we're boxing out. Down here, let's look at dubs. Yep, let's look at dubs. So we've got Munga, Bucks here, Munga here. Yep. We send it to here. Ray's here. Shez is here. Jade here. Okay, send it here. Look at this cut. Look at these cuts, Ray. See what we've got. Shot here. Yep. If not, send it in here. Where's Munga? You popped it here. Send it up to here. On ball with Munga and Bunts at the end. Here we go. You see that? Guys.
It's an important minute 12 here for the Caps, who got out to a handy lead. They went on an 8-point scoring run, got out to a 10-point lead as we head courtside to Megs.
The offense, he said, offensively we're fine, but the improvement has come from the D. So they're looking to get some shots up here from Amy Atwell and try and reel this back in at quarter time.
Amy certainly having more of an involvement in the last couple of minutes. Margin back to 2, so this has been a good response here from Perth, who bring the full court pressure.
I like that.
Kalea,
Pressure.
Melbourne. And they work their way through it. Bunton, nicely done by the Caps. They didn't panic. Melbourne and Kalea.
You see them in a zone, which I think is a good tactic given that Canberra aren't shooting the 3-ball particularly well.
Good defensive set there from Perth. Brought the full court pressure, and then when it got into the half court, they maintained the pressure. Canberra couldn't get a shot away. Burrows against Kalea. A little fumble from Ryan. It'll ricochet off Burrows, and the Caps will get it back. Kristen Veal hunting her first win as a WNBL head coach after a glittering career as a player.
Back to man-to-man.
Melbourne to Munga to Burrell. Kalea provides some movement. Burrell will go herself. It opens up in the lane. It was a tough finish. And now a final opportunity here for Perth. And Ryan will hold it up to take the final shot of the term. A chance to tie it up or even hit the front after they trail by as much as 10. Ryan, shot clock down to 5. Gets it to the rack and finishes. Ties it all up. And wasn't that an interesting opening term in Canberra? The Caps out to a 10-point lead midway through the term. The Lynx finish strong, they tie it up. And at quarter time, it's 22 apiece on ESPN's WNBL Game of the Week. Quarter time in Canberra. Caps went on an 8-point run to lead by 10 midway through the opening term. Perth then turned around and had a 9-point run of their own and levelled it up at quarter time. It's 22 apiece as we start the second term. The National Convention Centre in Canberra, ESPN's WNBL Game of the Week. Ryan against Munga. Robbie's been busy early. Sharp takes on Melbourne. Well done, Jade Melbourne, got a hand in. And away she scoots. Bibby with the job at the moment of guarding the dynamic Jade Melbourne. 11 points in the opening term. Smart. Gets the screen from Bunton. Shot too heavy. Sharp to Ryan and now Scherf. Bibby takes up some position in the paint. Crashes and bashes against Burrell. Melbourne comes in to provide support and Canberra come up with it. Burrell.
Both teams finding a little bit difficult to find the bottom of the net at the moment. Not when you're Jade Melbourne and you drive it in like that.
Up to 13 points. Canberra back in front. Ryan to Scherf. Little feed back through to Robbie Ryan. Shot short. And Smart pops it over the top to Jade Melbourne, who's been everywhere in this first half. Well done, Amy Atwell, stuck to the task. Let's head courtside. Here's Megs.
Well, she's yet to play a game for the Caps, but it was Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger who got the Caps in at quarter time, and it plead with them to bring the same energy they started the game with to start the second quarter and to come out focused. She felt they dropped away late in that final term. Britt Smart into the game, and with the ball now to guard Atwell, they're concerned about her starting to get into the game for Perth late in that first term.
Melbourne going head-to-head, grill-to-grill with Robbie Ryan. Draws a foul.
So I like the way Ryan, when Melbourne put the ball over her head, Ryan got right into her. Problem was when Jade brought it down, she needed to have just stepped off a little bit. Otherwise, you get called the foul as they did.
Burrell inbounds to Bunton, who started on fire. Munga against Sharp. Gets to position to finish. Caps out to a 4-point lead once again. Ryan against Melbourne. Robbie goes at Jade. And we'll go to the line. Interesting battle, isn't it?
There's some great matchups, and when I looked at the quarter time stats, if we could just have a look at this before I talk about that, just didn't quite get her feet across, was still moving, and Munger was able to, sorry, not Munger, Robbie Ryan able to get herself to the line. But if I look at the matchups we were talking about, Bunton and Scherf, certainly you'd have to say Bunton's winning in that regard. She's had a great first quarter with 5 points and 4 rebounds.
In the guard battle, it's been Melbourne and Munga against Ryan and Whitcomb. Lovely work. Burrell cruises in and lays in another 2. This is a great start to the second term again for Canberra, who've seized the initiative. Atwell, can she start to get hot? Pops it over the top. Bibby against Munga. It's short. Chloe goes herself. Wins it back. Won't go. Still alive. Desperate scramble. Ref eventually calls a jump ball.
Well, good perseverance by Perth. There were a couple of gettable baskets there they didn't get, but they just kept going at it and at it.
Melbourne. It's got Bunton working to the corner. Smart gets the screen from Bunton, pulls up, rattles out. And Scherf is fouled by Alex Bunton. So the margin sits at 5 in favour of Canberra. 7.5 left in this second term as we head courtside to Megs.
Well, Sammy Whitcomb in early foul trouble with 2 to her name, but as you can see, she's got the ball now sub back into the game. Perth looking to get a bit of a spark from their captain in this second term.
Thanks, Megs. Canberra coming out. seizing the early initiative again in the second quarter. Hence the change. Edwards. Here is Whitcomb. Shot clock down to 5. Can Sammy come up with some magic? Munger right there in her pocket. What a finish, Sammy Whitcomb.
That was good because Munger was just right all over her and kept her in front on the drive. Really good defense, better finish.
Melbourne thought about going herself, sees Pizzi open. Atwell tidies it up for the Lynx. Gets a screen from Edwards. And one. Big minute here for the Lynx, who have managed to halt Canberra's run at the start of this second term, and now a chance to level the game up once again. Amy Atwell, quiet early, as we mentioned, scoreless last game, starting to have an impact.
Both teams, and we saw that with Atwell there, are really using the on-ball pick really well and making that decision to come off of it. Am I open now or should I drive it? And a lot of times we see that pull-up jump shot to the success of both teams.
Munger receives from Melbourne, and Tonks gives it back. Pizzi. Melbourne. Kicks it out to Tonks. Rattles around, crashing in was Burrell, and wins it back for Canberra. Well, they're the moments that will drive Ryan Petrick, Perth coach, crazy. We talked at the start of the night about O-boards and second chance points. It's been an issue for Perth the last few starts, Laurie. They've been relatively clean in that area tonight, but here's an opportunity for Canberra.
Well, it just gives the opposition another chance, another look at the basket when you've played all that defense. And results in a score.
The second chance point, 6-0 in favour of Canberra, who lead by 3. Whitcomb to Atwell. Starting to feel it, Amy. Rattles around and out. Jade Melbourne. Lovely. Go-ahead pass to Pizzi for the finish and one.
You could just see the determination on Pizzi to sprint down the floor, get ahead of the ball. Look at her sprinting there. Gets right to the point of the rim and is able to finish strongly. Exactly what you want in an outlet and a flying down the point, down the floor, your big player.
Perfectly weighted pass from Jade Melbourne. Beck didn't have to break stride.
That was the example of a sprint post.
5 for 18 from the line in her career, Beck. Only 28% free throw shooter. It's been an issue for her, but she drains that one. That'll give us great confidence. And the Caps back out to a 6-point lead.
Well, it's important she has an impact when she comes off the bench because she comes in for Bunton. Bunton needs a bit of a break to be able to continue at that pace, but...
Whitcomb to Edwards, who can't finish. Melbourne moves Munger in a position. Pizzi comes up to lay a screen. Jade then feeds it through and Beck finishes. You speak about confidence, Laurie.
Well, one time you pick and pocket and you score. Next time you pick and roll and you score.
Whitcomb will go herself and finish with class. Margin sits at 6. Halfway through this second quarter. ESPN's Wednesday Night Hoops coming to you from the National Convention Centre in Canberra. The winless Capitals away to a great start here. Perth on a 3-game slide right now, trying to arrest that. Get some momentum back into their season. Melbourne, long two is good.
You know, Jason, looking at the shooting percentages and what's going on the floor at both ends for both teams, you wouldn't think that this is a game against 6 and 8 and that the Caps haven't won a game yet.
Gibby gets 2 back for Perth. Just hanging around here, making sure they stay within touch. Canberra having some good early moments. Burrell, Pizzi, Melbourne, been everywhere. Active feet, active finish.
How much fun is she having out there? She is finding so many different ways to score, and nobody from Perth can stop her right now.
18 points for Jade Melbourne midway through the second term. This timeout brought to you by CTM Sport. If you're considering travelling interstate to follow your team, go to ctmsport.com.au to learn more. Here's a pumped-up Kristen Veal.
Sammy preference to go over. Right, everyone else attached, but most likely going to slice under. We'll take contested jump shots for the others. Right? With Sammy, we're going to need a little bit more help. A little bit more help. But Sammy, over if we can. On any rescreen, maybe under, maybe over. But the others are probably going to be a slice under. If you end up switching onto the big, do not front her. Do not come around. Stand behind her, play the ball, force her one way. If that happens. Okay. Down here. I like the trips. I like the trips. Run it again. Right here. Munga here. Bunts here. Tonksy here. Right. Come off this. Get into that. Right. Set that. Ray, this is you here now. Right. Right here. Jade here. Yep. Bunts into it. Yep. You can flip it here if you like. Yep. Munga, get out of the way. Yep.
You can feel the energy coming from Kristen Veal, the confidence, the belief in this group.
She was really, really direct in what her defensive rules were. So with Sammy Whitcomb, any on balls, they want to try and fight over top because she's too dangerous. But the others, she's saying, no, we can slice under as long as we give them a contested shot. Really clear in that message.
So margin back out to 9. Scherf to try and cut that down against Bunton. Lovely finish. Back to a 7-point game.
That's Scherf's first points for the game. She needs to get involved. She needs to be a bit more of a presence and demand the ball in there.
Jade Melbourne has 18. Burrell playing a supporting role this evening as she comes back from a foot injury. That one won't go. Sharp against Tonks. Atwell pulls the trigger. It's short. And it feels like Jade Melbourne's had the ball in her hands 75% of this game. She gives it off now to Tonks. Lizzie considers her options. Bunton will come up and provide the screen. Tonks to Burrell against Atwell, puts it on the floor. Will she take her on? She will. Tough finish. And well done, Perth. Good defensive stop. Because once again, they're forced to claw their way back. It's been the story of the game so far. Caps kick away. Perth try to haul them back in. We've got to do it again here. Atwell, lovely work against Munga. Lovely touch too.
Really nice finish by Amy Atwell. They're in a zone now. No, sorry, back to man to man.
Morgan wraps around, gets to a spot she likes.
It's too easy.
She's up to 20 points, Laurie.
Her shots aren't even contested. Perth have really got to take care of business here. They've got to get somebody that's going to go, I want to guard Melbourne, I want to stop her, because it's just too easy.
She's 8 for 11 from the floor at the moment, Jade Melbourne. The Lynx come back and respond once again, but she's having her way in this first half. Megan Huswaite was in the Perth timeout at the last break. Megs, what did Ryan have to say?
I sure was, Jace, and the play out of the timeout was executed to perfection. As you mentioned, Lauren Scherf was yet to get a point on the board, but she made a 2 out of that play, and that was what Ryan Petrick was asking for in the timeout. But I am happy to report it was very hard to hear, Ryan, because the Canberra faithful here are making some serious noise, and here they go right now.
As Burrell adds another 2. And this margin seesawing between 10 and 0 at the moment. Canberra pull away. Perth drag them back. And a foul off the ball against Lizzie Tonks, who puts Bibby to the floor.
I don't think Kristen Veal will really mind that foul. At least it shows her team is trying to bump cutters, being physical as they go. And for Lizzie Tonks to knock over Chloe Bibby, that's she's playing pretty physically.
So margin sits at 6 with just over 2 minutes left in an entertaining first half.
Jason, what do you think about our key matchups with Sammy Whitcomb, 6 points, and Jade Melbourne, 20 points?
It's been outstanding, hasn't it, from Jade Melbourne?
Wow.
Chloe makes the first.
You know, it feels like Canberra should be so much further ahead, but in reality, it's a 4-point game.
Every time they kick away, Perth have managed to reel them back in. Munga to Melbourne. Inside 2 minutes in the first half. Whitcomb up in the face of Jade Melbourne. Munga. Back to Jade. Shot clock down to 5. Munga for 3. Burrell keeps it alive. Brilliant. But the shot clock expires. Didn't clip the rim on the way through.
I thought that zone that after that made foul shot that Perth went into really made Canberra have to think about things. They didn't look like they were flowing through anything. So, you know, maybe that's a strategy they'll look at a bit more.
Ryan to Scherf. Whitcomb. Rolls around, won't go, but Lauren tidies it up. 2-point game once again. So Perth will head to half-time here thinking, look, we haven't played that well, but we're still well and truly in it. Canberra may be the opposite. They're saying we're playing really well. We haven't been able to break it open just yet. Melbourne. Burrell for three. Oh, off the glass.
I was just about to say, oh, that might not be the best shot to take. And it's like, okay.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, and Ryan responds at the other end with two of her own. Was that a step out of bounds? I think it was. Was it?
Well, I thought there was a turnover there.
Yeah. There's the shot from Burrell. The refs might just confer here. Is this going to end up being a Perth ball? Timeout called with 49 seconds left on the clock. This timeout brought to you by Cygnett. And stay connected with all the latest WNBL news and social highlights. Keep your favourite tech charged up at home with Cygnett's range of charging products and digital accessories. Explore that range at cygnett.com. We thank them so much for their naming rights support of the WNBL in 22-23. Here's Kristen Veal.
Who we got? Ray. Yep. Ray, swing through. Come off this here. Yep. Dive. Pop. Yep. Send it here. Now we should have the overload. Yep. Mugger, look to score or attack. If not, you got B or you got Ray here. Yep. Makes sense? Don't play over here. Play here though. 1, 2, 3 on this side. Wait for it. Run it in the last 12 seconds. Here we go.
Meanwhile, in the Perth huddle, Megan Huswaite.
Amy Atwell now has the job on Jade Melbourne, but Ryan Patrick was very clear, do not foul her in this remaining 49 seconds heading into the halftime break.
So 3-point lead for Canberra. Jade Melbourne sits on 20 points, 8 of 11 from the field. 5 rebounds, 5 assists to go with it. What a first half. Munga needs to take on Whitcomb. Goes to the corner. Good first step, Burrell. Gets to position. Can she finish from under the hoop? Gets her own ball back. It's short. And once again, the Lynx a chance to tighten things right up late in the second quarter. Similar story to the first. Canberra kick away. Perth reel them back. Scherf. Final play of the half here for Perth. She wants some movement. Whitcomb's open to tie it up. It's short. Still some time for Jade. Can she come up with some magic? Gets to half court. Launches a prayer. Just about everything else has dropped for her in the first half.
Why not have it in her hands for a half-court prayer?
And at half-time, the Caps head to the major break with a 3-point lead. It's Canberra 47, Perth 44. 22 points to 25 in that second term from Canberra. Scores level at the first change. The home side by 3 at the major break. Jade Melbourne leading the game with 20 points. Burrell's had 9, 7 for Pizzi, 6 for Munga, while Ryan's got 11 for Perth. Bibby has 10, but the star of the show so far, Jade Melbourne. Here she is with Megs.
Jade Melbourne, you were huffing and puffing, but what did you have for breakfast this morning, young lady?
I had 3 wheat bix with banana and strawberries.
It's doing well for you so far. Cap's doing well as well, but you've been in this position in a lot of your games, but been unable to get the job done in the second half. How do you turn the tables and get the win here?
Yeah, so right now our defence has been the key to this match. Like, we've executed our scout really well, but there's still some things we need to clean up on. So we continue to do that, continue to get good looks on offence. We put ourselves in a great position to win this game.
And just finally, the crowd, you're getting them up and about, but can you use their energy to help get that win?
Yeah, they're the best. You know, we call them our sixth man, and they are. They get us up and about. They ride the highs and the lows, so they're going to keep riding the highs. It's going to stay up and about this second half. We're going to get the job done.
Go Jade Melbourne.
Thank you.
20 points in the first half for Jade Melbourne. Her team leads by 3. It is half time. Wednesday night hoops on ESPN. Canberra 47, Perth 44.
Thank you.
I didn't set out to be captain. You know, it's definitely an honor, but honestly, I think especially this season, it's really collaborative. I'm really excited about this opportunity, but I also just think the environment that I'm in has also, and in my past experiences, has also just kind of just naturally is who I am. Nothing necessarily needs to change, and you know, I think my biggest thing is just going to be to still learn myself, still be coachable, and lead by example. For so long. With all of our progress and a lot of new people and, you know, not expecting perfection, which you never can, but I think we're progressing into a really fun brand to watch.
The 37-year-old, originally from Ohio, in her 8th season of WNBL. She spent 3 years at the Melbourne Boomers, won the 2016 Michelle Timms medal as the team's MVP. Then a couple of years in Sydney, and now to her 3rd in Canberra. Laurie, she's battled back from a painful foot injury this year, but you can just see the experience, the leadership, the composure of Britt Smart so important for this young team.
I spoke to her earlier today when I knew we were doing this segment, and she is so articulate, such a high basketball IQ, a calming influence, and just the way she goes about her business. You know, I asked her when she started with the Boomers, did she ever think she'd be captain of the Canberra Capitals how many years later? And she goes, well, I always maintain it's good to always be ready, so I keep myself fit, and whenever any opportunities present themselves, I'm there and I'm ready. And such good advice for any young players.
And a real yin and yang, I suppose, between Jade Melbourne and Britt Smart. Very different styles of player. Jade is just so dynamic and so intense, and then you've got Britt's calming influence. Well, tonight it's working for them. Jade Melbourne, 20 points in the first half, 8 of 12 from the floor, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. To put it in context, she's averaging 12 points a game this season, already up to 20 at the half.
It's so great to see the way she's scoring, the way she's bringing the energy to the team, and she's liking it, her teammates are liking it, and the fans are going crazy with it. But she's scored in a lot of different ways. From the three-point line, her drive's been really good, and her assists and getting her teammates open as well.
Check the numbers. Field goal percentage for both teams, 50 and 48%. Both had exactly the same number of shots as well, which will please both coaches. They haven't been out-rebounded. They're not giving up a lot of second-chance points in this first half. Laurie, what have you made of it? From a Perth perspective now, what are they adjusting?
Well, when you look at that 0 from 6, Perth, we know, they're usually good three-point shooters, and they've only taken 6 and haven't made any. So that's something as a coach you say, that's okay. As long as they're good shots, we'll continue to take them. But the thing I like the most, and that stat's not up there, both teams are really taking care of the basketball. Only 3 turnovers for Canberra and 1 turnover for Perth.
Certainly been a focus for both coaches and both teams coming into this one. It's the Caps by 3 points at the half. Can Perth come again in the second half, or can Canberra put up their first win of the season? Back with the third quarter action. ESPN's WNBL Game of the Week continues next.
Alison Schwagmeyer-Belger.
What a quarter, what a half rather from Jade Melbourne. She's equalled her career high. She's up to 20 points at the halftime break. Can Perth find a way to stop her? Let's head courtside. Megan Hustwaite. Megs, the WNBL's regaining a bit of swag.
We sure are. Hello, Alison Schwagma in Belgium. Welcome back to the WNBL. When can we hope to see you?
Hopefully soon. So just managing load and getting ready to get anxious to get out there with the girls and bring some energy.
Well, they are bringing the energy in this first half.
Yeah.
What was the message at halftime? Can they get it done here?
Yeah, absolutely. Our big thing is just defense right now. So we're just trying to be as disciplined as possible on the defensive end, and we know if we can do that, then we can pull away with the win.
And just finally, last time we saw you was in the hub season in Townsville exactly 2 years ago. It was Jade Melbourne's debut season with the UC Caps. Are you blown away by how far she's come in the 2 years, and she's soon to be your teammate?
Yeah, it's exciting watching her, the energy she comes with, and I just want to help add to that energy. And so, yeah, she's improved so much vocally as well and as a leader. So, yeah.
It's great to see. Well, we can't wait to see you back on court. Get out there back with them, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, Megs. Great to see Alison Schwagmeyer back in the WNBL. So, Laurie, Perth trailed by 3. They've trailed for most of the first half. They've managed to have the poise and composure to get back in touch with Canberra, but how do they pull ahead in the second half?
Well, I think they need to, number one, go, who is going to stop Jade Melbourne? Who is going to put their hand up and say, I'm accountable for her, I'm going to contain her, I'm going to contest her shots, that sort of thing. And that would be the number one thing. And then it's about going, trust our processes. We're a good scoring team. We can score a lot, and we just haven't been able to hit those shots, and we will, so let's keep going with the process.
So 20 points for Jade Melbourne, but she's also had some good support. 9 from Burrell, 7 from Pizzi, 6 from Munga. So it hasn't been completely a one-player show. They've managed to work off her pretty nicely.
Well, that's what I like about Canberra right now, is they're sharing the load a little bit. And whilst, yes, she has 20 points and outstanding, there's other people that have been involved as well, and partially because of Jade's 5 assists to go along with her 20 points. So it's a real team effort from Canberra, and that's it. The question mark will be now, can they continue it for another 20 minutes this half?
From a Perth perspective, Robbie Ryan leads the game for them with 11 points, 10 to Bibby, 9 to Atwell, 7 to Whitcomb. So they've been doing it by committee at the other end.
Yes, they have, and I'd like to just see Lauren Scherf a little bit more involved in the scoring. She's somebody that scored a double-double in one of her recent games, and she just needs to be a little bit more involved in my eyes.
4 points, 5 rebounds to the half for Lauren Scherf. So the Caps have gone out to a double-digit lead twice, once in the first quarter, once in the second quarter, and both times Perth were able to work their way back. The margin currently sits at 3 in favour of the Caps as we get set for third quarter action. Wednesday night hoops on ESPN, your home of hoops.
Will this be Canberra Capital's first win on their home court?
Long way to go as we start the second half. Entertaining contest in the nation's capital. Ryan, here's Whitcomb. Can she get hot in the second half? It's short. Slapped away by Bunton, but tidied up by Bibby. And Perth will get another look. Ryan's been impressive. That won't go either, but once again, they'll get another opportunity. This time it's Whitcomb. They keep jacking up the threes, yet to nail one. Scherf works on Bunton. Kicks it out. Is this the moment? Not quite. And their drought from the three-point arc continues. They're now none for 9. For a team that shoots the most threes in the competition, well, you live by the 3 and die by the 3 sometimes. At the moment, they're ice cold from long range.
All of those threes were good looks. Just not being able to finish them.
Munga added another dimension. That's short as well. Who can seize the early momentum in this third quarter? Ryan. And a real leader out there tonight for Perth. That pass to Biddy, not ideal, and it's picked off by Smart. Receives it back from Melbourne. Goes herself with a little floater, and one lovely finish.
What I liked about Britt Smart there, coming off of that on-ball screen, that high on-ball screen, she was probing and she was looking. Her eyes were looking at Bunton. Then when she realized she was covered, was able to pull up and find a way to score and get herself to the line.
So Britt Smart to the line to add the extra. 77% free throw shooter across her career, and the veteran adds another. Caps back out to a 6-point lead. Get the feeling in this game, and given the circumstances of their season, they need to keep their noses in front. Whitcomb draws a foul, driving to the rack. And Laurie, when you're in that position and you're 0-7 on a season and you've led for so much of the game, you don't want to suddenly fall behind, because that's when the doubts and the little demon on the shoulder starts to step back up again.
And that's where I think it's really important that Kristen Veal uses her timeouts really smartly, so that if ever Lynx get a bit of momentum or she senses a little bit of hesitation with her group, call them in, refocus them, talk about what's the emphasis are. But right now they're doing a great job.
Momentary hold up.
Having said that, Perth have a lot of experience out there in Lauren Scherf, Sammy Whitcomb, and you know they know how to score. They know how to read a game and what phase they are in it.
So there's some running repairs there, I think, for Nicole Munger, who's subbed out to receive some treatment on the sideline. Burrell, Kalea. Here's Smart, feet set. Crashing in was Burrell, can't control it. And Whitcomb receives the handoff from Bibby. Popped it over the top, but coughed it up. Melbourne puts the foot down, goes quick, flips to Burrell, gets to position and finishes. So once again, the Caps, for the third straight quarter, get away to a good start. They're up by 6. And the active hands of Jade Melbourne breaks up that play as well.
That's exactly what they need, a steal, a fast break opportunity, a deflection now. Very good start to the second half.
Meigs is keeping an eye on the Canberra bench.
Nicole Munger just off the court at the moment, having her right knee tape just come off with the blood rule, which is pretty fitting because this is a pretty tough contest out there right now.
Thanks, Meigs. Chloe Bibby drains that shot, gets it back to a 3-point game once again. Perth have been superb at just hanging around tonight. Melbourne, Smart. Back to Jade. Feeds it through Burrell. Gathers, tough one. Turns, flips. Bunton, Melbourne has to put up a shot. Goes herself. And now Ryan, the go-ahead bucket for Bibby. Lovely play from Perth. Good defensive set and then worked off it.
And that's what Perth need. They need some just easy baskets instead of having to grind it out every time in the quarter court. That's exactly what I talked about a bit earlier, that active hands. Oh, what a reply from Britt Smart, though.
But back to a 1-point game. Now it's back out to 4. Scherf. She can't respond. Foul called. And this arm wrestle continues. Caps make a little kick. Perth come back.
Certainly makes it exciting for the crowd that are watching this at their home venue.
1-point game. Burrell gets into the lane, pulls up, off the iron. She'll go again, gets her own rebound. And then kicks it back out to Melbourne. And they can reset. 10 on the clock. Melbourne versus Whitcomb. Jade drives, won't drop this time. Kalea does well.
That's exactly what Ryan Petrick does not want, and he was really pleading with his players to concentrate on locking out. Now we see that the Caps are able to surge ahead again.
Marching back out to 6. Melbourne. Bunton. Smart. Feeds it through to Alex. Well, this game's being played in fits and starts at the moment. And the Caps kick away once again. It's an 8-point break. Ryan to Bibby. Sharp back to Robbie Ryan. Whitcomb. Robbie's open. Big 3. Once again, they respond.
Smarts by Sammy Whitcomb to receive the ball. Look at her shot, but immediately kick it back to Ryan, who was wide open at that 3-point line.
Having a great night, Robbie Ryan up to 14 points. Smart works with Bunton. Gets around Ryan. Goes herself. And for the second time this term, lovely little touch from Britt Smart.
Looks like her foot's not bothering her.
She's up to 8 points. Bibby takes on Burrell, loses the handle. And Perth will retain possession as we head down to Meigs.
5:47 on the clock in the third quarter was the first moment for tonight that Ryan Petrick smiled. He certainly had a smile on his face when fellow Robbie Ryan put that shot in. Certainly a lot more energy on the Perth bench now. They feel like they're back in the game.
It's delicately poised at the moment, isn't it? Atwell against Melbourne. Great struggle. Amy stuck at it. Sharp came over the top. But it ends with Munga. Melbourne just looks across at Kristen Veal for an instruction. As we hit the midway point of this third term, it's the Caps by 7, hunting their first win of the season. Shot clock to 5. Will Jade go herself or feed it through? You can see the intention was to give it to Bunton. Munga forced to put up a late shot. Well done, Smart. Quick hands. But Bibby hauls it back in for Perth. Whitcomb alone in the corner is Sharp, and she makes them pay.
Does this mean the floodgates are going to open? A nice quick 3 in transition. Alex Sharp waiting in the corner.
Starting to warm up a little. They're 3 for 13 now after going zip for 10. Whistle goes off the ball.
There really haven't been that many fouls called at all in this game so far.
Not a lot of fouls, not a lot of timeouts. It's really been a free-flowing affair. Both teams just out there, they're just letting them play. It's been great to watch. 4-point game. Burrell with the inbound. Melbourne sitting on 20 points as she had at the half. Yet to score in this third. Burrell works on Scherf. Lauren in good position. Tough shot, Burrell. Great defence, Lauren Scherf. Again, quick ball movement from Perth. They're trying to get out into space here. Whitcomb. Sharp has it stripped. Melbourne. Great handles. She's on the board in the third. Crowd lifts. Margin back to 6. Bibby to respond.
See, I'm not sure about that shot. I think they'll get that shot if they've made them play a couple of, 10, 15 seconds of defense. You'll get a shot exactly like that.
Burrell to Bunton. Melbourne flips it back. Alex is wide open. They won't defend that. And Whitcomb to Sharp. Got Bibby in the corner. Goes back to Lauren Scherf. Still alive, crashing in Munga and Bibby. Canberra ball. Let's head courtside, Megan Huswaite.
Jade Melbourne's got this Canberra crowd in raptures. Some fans behind me on the sideline yelling out that she is a maths test because they've got no answers for her. The Caps fans certainly liking what they're seeing from their star guard tonight.
Thanks, Megs. They led by 3 at the half. They lead by 6 with 3 minutes to play in this third quarter. Melbourne sitting on 22 points, 6 assists. Flips to the corner for Tonks. Works to position. Lovely touch, Lizzie Tonks. And once again, they're back out to an 8-point lead. Whitcomb's open. Generally spells trouble, but tonight they're just not dropping for Perth. Munga, Burrell for a dagger. Oh, that one stings.
A dagger is a great word for that one, Jason. That just brought the house down there. What a great shot. Just running in transition. Stop, prop, score.
Margin back out to double digits. It's an 11-point game. This timeout brought to you by DIY Blinds. To fit out your home with Australian-made designer quality window furnishings. DIYblinds.com.au. Here's Kristen Veal. we've lost Kristen. So, Laurie, messages from the two coaches.
Well, I'm just looking at the intensity and the look on Veely's face, and she'd be liking what she's seen, and she'd be wanting to just keep them focused. Ryan, on the other hand, has got to go. Think about your shot selections. You know, we don't need a one-passless three-point shot. We need to work it around. We need to continue to drive and get it inside. Get various people involved. Know your roles out there. And no second chance opportunities.
As the Caps stay in their huddle for an extended period, Ryan Petrick had obviously some clear messages and back out on the floor. They're on a 3-game slide at the moment, Perth. As we mentioned, this is week 1 of a 5-game stretch that might define their season. Some games that they need to win to stay in touch with the top 4. Acid on them at the moment, on the road in Canberra. Ryan pops it over the top. Lovely ball movement. This time they get it inside to Scherf.
I really like that. Again, that was the exact way Scherf scored last time with her other points. Just a ball reversal. She was able to seal. Did her work nice and early. Great finish inside. They need to do that more often. They need to get Scherf involved.
Tonks. Burrell. Ryan comes away with it. Margin back to 9. Scherf, she pulls the trigger from long range and makes it. 6-point game once again.
Why not? You've just scored inside. Let's show all the strings to your bow and shoot that 3 outside.
Lauren Scherf starting to have an impact. Melbourne with 90 seconds left in the third. Burrell has been dynamic. Wants to take on Clinch Hoycard for 3. Atwell comes up with it. So another good 30 seconds here for Perth as they stabilise things, come up with some points. Can Ryan find some more? She's in traffic. She'll kick it out. Whitcomb's got plenty of time. Still 10 left on the shot clock. What can Sammy set up? Will she feed Scherf? She'll go herself.
Such poise and experience, that shot of Sammy Whitcomb. She got Jade Melbourne on her back and just with ease was able to go up and finish.
Just like that, the Lynx close back to a manageable margin once again. It's back to 4. After it blew out to 11. Bunton comes thundering through. Perth surging late in this third term. Whitcomb. Atwell, a slight fumble. That was enough for Bunton to close her down. Whitcomb back to Atwell. Oh, yes! Perth surge late. It's a 1-point game once again. And the Caps will get the final shot.
He just knew that even though Canberra had that lead, that the Perth were not going to lie down and die.
Got out to a game-high 11-point lead midway through the quarter. Melbourne tried to feed it to Bunton. Still time here for Perth. Atwell, not quite. And this game has been a thriller all night. It was level at quarter time. It was the Caps by 3 at the half. And as we turn for home in Canberra, it's the Capitals 68, Lynx 67. Canberra led by 11 points midway through the third term before Perth Lynx surged late. Got it back within 1 point as we turn for home in Canberra. Megan Huswaite was in both huddles.
Kristen Veal's message to her Capitals was discipline, ladies. She wants a hand up on the threes and encouraged Jade Melbourne to take her shot. Of course, Jade Melbourne was also the topic in the Perth huddle with Ryan Petrick, looking at how his players can curb her influence in this final term. Certainly a feel within the Lynx huddle, though, that momentum has shifted.
That shot from Whitcomb was for the lead. Didn't go.
She's 0 from 7 right now from the three-point line.
She's due, isn't she? Down the stretch.
Yes, exactly. That's a bit scary.
Yeah, Sammy Whitcomb's as clutch as they come.
Absolutely.
1 point game remains. Munga works with Burrell. Left-handed finish. And Matt Clinchoy can't. There to tidy it up. Can Perth regain the lead here? Their biggest lead tonight, just 2 points. Caps have led by 11. Scherf getting hot from long range. And Perth are in front.
Off the dribble, thank you very much. Wow, first lead of the game for the Lynx.
Lauren's up to 12 points. She had 4 to the half, really starting to get involved. Can Alex Bunton now respond for Canberra? She dishes off to Melbourne. And now the challenge mentally for the Caps. They're 0-7 on the season. Now they trail. Perth will think they can run over the top of them here. Whitcomb. And Perth will retain possession. That's the mental challenge now, Laurie, for the Caps. Just keep their head down and play by play.
Absolutely. You cannot go into a negative mindset and think, oh, we're behind now. You've got to do what you've been doing. Keep being aggressive. Don't go into a shell at all.
Ryan. Drop for Robbie. Melbourne to Smart. Gee, they could use a big bucket here, couldn't they, Canberra? Munga's open. Can she bring it? Well done, Burrell. Keeps it alive. Munga elects not to pull the trigger, gets the screen, works around it from Bunton, then feeds Alex, who draws a foul and can go to the line to tie things up once again.
What Canberra have to avoid doing is taking quick, easy shots. Their success was based on getting the ball through hands, movement, opening up the defense with Perth, and then attacking it. Early, they attacked it so much, so I hope they don't become hesitant and take the first three-point shot that feels open.
62% free throw shooter on her career, Alex Bunton. Tonight, game 128. Most experienced of the Caps players. 1 point game once again. Perth lead it with 8:20 left on the clock. Whitcomb. Scherf in good position. Burrell read it just a step too late.
I think we're going to see a lot of that two-man combination of Scherf and Whitcomb, both very experienced, whether it's an on-ball, Sammy driving, Lauren popping, or that low-look pass by Sammy Whitcomb in there. But I think we'll see a lot of two-man action between those two players.
What an impact Lauren Scherf's now having, up to 14 points. It was all Jade Melbourne in the first half. She had 20. She's had just 2 in the second half. While Lauren Scherf has put on 10 herself.
Exactly, 4 at the half time. So, and we know Sammy hasn't hit a 3 yet. That's scary business.
This timeout brought to you by Aussie Hoops. More than 42,000 kids aged 5 to 10 getting an introduction to the world of basketball. Register now for 2023 at aussiehoops.basketball. So a mental challenge now for the Caps. The Lynx have been hanging around all night, Laurie. Have trailed by as much as 11 and showed that mental resilience to hang in the game. They now lead. Take us into these two huddles and the mindsets of these two coaches right now.
Well, I think Vealy will just be trying to stay really positive with her group. Give them some specific instructions, but tell them to not just relax. Don't go away. Look what's got us this far. Keep playing our defensive rules. Keep working together offensively. And for Ryan, he'd be pretty happy, and I'm sure he would be saying to his group, look, we've battled, we've come from behind now. Let's keep pushing away. Let's keep taking those shots if they're open, but let's lock down defensively.
Meggs was listening in to Kristen Veal.
The competitive juices flowing from Kristen Veal at that time out. No excuses anymore. She told her team she wants solid D, as Laurie mentioned. And I quote, oh my God, Jade, take your shots, as Nicole Munga just had.
Back to a one-point game. Munga's had an important role to play. She's up to 8 points. Robbie Ryan's got 14 for Perth. She runs into Melbourne. Gives it off to Scherf, feeds it back to Ryan. The idea was right, but the turnover comes. Cats feed off the energy.
Exactly what I was going to say, Jason. Just a little thing like a fingertip to that deflection, the way Jade Melbourne threw her body on the line to get that deflection, just lifts everybody.
7.5 to play. It's been a fantastic game in Canberra. It's been on from the start. It has ebbed and flowed. Burrell gives the Cats back the lead. Ryan to Whitcomb. Draws the foul on Melbourne for the moving.
Smart move by Whitcomb, just getting that ball and ripping it low, going at Melbourne straight away. She just was a little bit out of position. But there, nice little pull-up jump shot from Burrell.
He's up to 14 points. He's played a really nice support role tonight alongside Jade Melbourne.
What a ball game we've got for a Wednesday night here on ESPN in the Cygnett WNBL.
Whitcomb to Scherf. What a factor Lauren's been in this second half.
There's that two-man game. You've got the experience and the know-how of Sammy Whitcomb coming off on balls, decision-making, and Lauren Scherf rolling hard.
Perth in front once again. Offensive foul. Moving screen, I think, on Alex Bunton. Perth ball. Bibi to Ryan. Whitcomb. It's been a facilitator tonight. This time she goes herself. Perth sneak out to a 3-point lead.
Such a luxury to have a player like Sammy Whitcomb as your point guard, the ball in her hands at the end of a shot clock or any play phase when the game's close and on the line like this.
Bunton to Melbourne. Bunton rolls to the hoop. Jade goes herself. Tough shot. Good D from Perth. Whitcomb now starting to have a real impact on the game. Off to Sharp. Will it roll? It won't. Doesn't get the kind bounce. Burrell couldn't control it. Hurts that foot, which has been causing her problems. You can see her at the bottom of the screen, limping down the court. She's in a bit of trouble. Meanwhile, Melbourne goes off the hands of Bunton. It's a 5-on-4 right now for Perth. Sammy will take advantage. They move it to the corner. Bibi had to reach for it. She still gets the finish. Now Jade Melbourne limping around as well. Burrell's a bit sore, Melbourne sore, and Perth suddenly has the upper hand. Megan Huswaite.
Poor Jade Melbourne, she's put on a performance for the ages tonight, but you could see, or I could see her pull up in the corner. She's then got to her feet and she slapped her right hamstring in agony and also frustration, but she shook her hand at the Canberra bench. She is not going to get a sub as Canberra have 5 minutes to try and get their first win of the season.
Burrell stayed out there as well, Megs. They try to grit it out. They're down by 6. They need a couple of big buckets here. Can their senior players step up? Bunton needs to put up a shot and does.
Great poise by Alex Bunton underneath. Oh, and we can see the proppiness of Burrell. I would get an isolation play if I was Perth.
Whitcomb. Oh, that stings.
Or give the ball to Sammy Whitcomb and get her to shoot a 3.
Perth making their move here, trying to break the Capitals' spirit. They lead by 7 with 5 to play. A loose one from Melbourne. Whitcomb pounces. Can she punish? Behind the back pass is good for Bibi. And just like that, it's a 9-point lead to Perth. And the Caps are going to have to dig deep here. Sammy Whitcomb with a couple of really important touches. She and Lauren Scherf having an impact in their second half, putting the team on their back. And they lead it by 9 with just under 5 to play. So Alison Schwagmeyer addresses her new teammates. So important messaging here from Kristen Veal. Ryan Petrick would be much happy with what he's seen in the last 10 minutes. For the first time tonight, Laurie, his team's been able to get the game on their terms and keep it there.
Well, they have. They not only got some good shots, but they had some really good defensive phases where they got a hand, they forced a bad shot, and then were able to get out and run and get some easy, not easy baskets, but some quicker baskets out of transition, and that's the ball game right there, the point difference. The Lynx, we know they've got that scoring power, and so we knew that they couldn't keep them. It was going to be a big effort to keep them down in that fourth quarter or for 4 full quarters. But right now, there's still plenty of time left, 5 minutes to go. Capitals really have to, it's got to lock down defensively and then keep moving the ball offensively and get a great shot.
They need to show that same poise that Perth's managed to show all night when they've been challenged, Meg. She's been in the Ryan Petrick huddle.
Cometh the moment, cometh Sammy Whitcomb. She led that huddle, telling her teammates 5 minutes is a long time to go. Do not quit. Just as Laurie touched on, but an incredible captain's game in this second half from Sammy Whitcomb, who sat out a lot of the first quarter on 2 early fouls.
She's up to 16 points. Sherp's got 16 as well. And they've been the difference makers in the second half. Smart to Munga, who's under some pressure. Shot clock to 5. They need a good shot here. Tough one for Nicole. And it all but drops. Bibby. Perth now with the game on their terms. They can control the tempo from here. Slow things down if they want. Scherf. Whitcomb. Back to Lauren. Out to Bibby. Won't go. Time is now for the Caps. Melbourne, Burrell, they needed it. Now they need a couple of stops.
They certainly did need that momentum. The crowd will get behind them. But we have the experience of the Sammy Whitcombs. Lauren Scherfs.
Look to combine again. And you can just see the Caps defense just sitting off Sammy a touch to try and protect that pass to Scherf. And when she senses it, she goes herself. Margin back to 9. Smart to Burrell. Big shot from Ray. Caps trying to hang in. 3:20 left on the clock. Let's just get it to Sammy and get out of the way right now, and why not?
Well, it's just her decision-making off that high on-ball screen. They've got to change something up because either she is, depending on what the defenders do, she'll look at taking it herself, or if their help comes in Lauren Scherf, she knows how to pass it up in the air for Scherf just to grab it and go.
She's up to 20 points now, Sammy Whitcomb. Scherf's got 16, Ryan 14. Bibby's got 20 as well. It's been a really strong performance from Perth in terms of sharing the scoring load. For the Caps, 22 for Melbourne, 18 for Burrell, and it falls away a little. Bunton with 10, next best. Perth by 9 with just over 3 minutes to play. Can the Caps come again? Melbourne to Tonks. Smart. Can Britt make the shot? A little heavy. Right now, the ball's in the hands of Scherf and Sammy Whitcomb for Perth. Everything's been based around those two right now, and why not? It's working for them. Atwell gets open. And Canberra get one of those stops that they need. They trail by 9. Off the glass from Jade Melbourne.
They needed that basket. Time could be against them, and somebody like Sammy Whitcomb, she knows they need to use the clock. Unless they've got a great shot, time is on their side.
Steps back out. Off hands. And frustration there from Jade Melbourne as the hand of Alex Bunton just came across and knocked it out of bounds. So Perth will retain possession. 14-second shot clock to work on in the front court. They go for the quick play to Bibby. Well done, Munga. Canberra ball. Fatigue kicking in for Jade Melbourne, who's played 38 minutes tonight. She's been out there the entire game. Crowd trying to lift their team. Munga, short. Bunton keeps it alive. Tonks. Back to Melbourne. Clock winds down to 2 minutes. Melbourne goes herself. It's short. And once again, you'll see Sammy Whitcomb happy to hang on to it. She's going to need to get it in the front court. She does just in time. For three.
Yes, you can't go under, you can't go through a screen with Sammy Whitcomb. You have got to go over and stay with her.
Munga goes hard at the rack and draws a foul. It's been a superbly managed second half from Sammy Whitcomb.
She had 7 points at halftime, Jason. This last quarter in particular, she's just put the team on her back with her experience, with her leadership, with her skill level, and said, come with me.
With great support from Lauren Scherf, who's up to 16 points. Bibby's got 20. Robbie Ryan been great as well with 14. So everything needs to go right here for Canberra. Nicole does her bit from the line. It's back to an 8-point game. Still 80 seconds left. They need a couple of stops, a couple of baskets, put some pressure on Perth here. First thing they need to do is find a way to try and stop Sammy Whitcomb. Easier said than done. To the corner, drives to the hoop, does Bibby. The foul is called. And isn't she putting together a very nice season, Chloe Bibby? 6th in the league for scoring, averaging 17 points a game. She'll go to the line here with 20 already to her name.
Well, I love just, you know, even her recognition there of the closeout was a bit too long, and so she was able to drive by her player and go up strongly.
Originally from Horsham in country Victoria. 4 years at Dandenong. Went to Mississippi State, Maryland. A little bit of time in the WNBA. As Scherf adds another 2, there's the Whitcomb-Scherf combination. It's carrying Perth to victory tonight. What an impact they've had. Won't go, and there's Lauren Scherf pulling one in at the other end. Off to her partner in crime, Whitcomb. Final minute. What a second half it's been from Sammy Whitcomb.
It's so great to watch Sammy Whitcomb versus Jade Melbourne. You've got the current Opals point guard, experience personified, up against the young future Opal star, both leaders in their own right, and just seeing them go head to head. And obviously Sammy has just stepped to the fore this last quarter.
Jade had 20 in the first half. Sammy has had 18 in the second half. Make that 19. They've both led their teams from the front superbly. Whitcomb just with a little bit more support around her in that second half. They've shared the scoring a touch more than Canberra. Burrell keeps it alive. Kicks it back out to Bunton. Jade Melbourne, career high tonight. 24 points. Jump ball called with 7 seconds left on the clock.
This is a great victory for Perth. You know, coming in, having lost to Townsville, the way they've been playing, and just having to go through the most momentum swings and stick with them.
Melbourne. And the Lynx return to the winners list. They snapped their 3-game losing streak with a much-needed victory and a hard-earned one that keeps them in touch with the top 4. They now head home for Christmas. In fact, they'll stay home until mid-January with visits from Adelaide and Sydney. while the Caps will head to the Harbour City to take on the Flames this Friday night. It was an entertaining Wednesday night game. It was a lot closer than the final score would suggest. In the end, it was the Lynx 97, Caps 83.
Our team is on the road for a few games now, in between now and the New Year's. Sydney.
Scores level at the first change. The Caps by 3 at the half. They led by 1 point at three-quarter time. And then they really opened things up in that final term with Sammy Whitcomb and Lauren Scherf putting on a show. They scored 30 points to 15 in the final quarter to run out 14-point winners, 97-83 in a really entertaining game. Laurie Chiswick.
Well, I think when you use the words hard fought, that was a really apt description of this game, because Canberra came out with so much energy and Perth just wouldn't go away. They stayed with them, and, you know, took the momentum swings away, kept coming back.
Megan Hustwaite's with Sammy Whitcomb on the back of 26 points, 6 rebounds, 7 assists, and carried her team to a W.
Oh, she sure did. 19 points in the second half. Sammy Whitcomb, you must be one proud skipper.
Yeah, look, that was a gutsy win for us. Canberra's a really good side. They're getting better every game, and they're hungry, and those teams are really hard to face sometimes, particularly on the road. So proud of our efforts. Obviously, defensively, we weren't really what we needed that first half, and I thought we, lifted when we needed to, and like I said, just gutsy in the end to hold strong against a really good side.
What was the message at halftime? Because we know that you could bring a better performance than that as a team. Yourself personally had a quiet first half, but you know Canberra were going to keep coming, and the home crowd was really lifting them.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, like I said, it was that defensive effort. I thought we did a better job on the O-boards, which have been a really big issue for us, but like Jade was killing us. So a lot of that was us guards. We had to do a better job kind of making it tougher for her to read what we were going to do, go over, under, mix that up on her. And then Biggs, we had to do a better job of meeting her at the rim because she's so tough. So I thought we did a little bit of a better job there and tried to make other people beat us. But ultimately, I just thought that we just stayed really focused and lifted our intensity.
So just on Jade, because she's a great mate, she's a Opal's teammate as well. That's probably her best performance at this level in her third season. I mean, are you just in awe of the talent she is?
I am. Honestly, I love watching her play. She's one of those people that, one, I got a chance to play with her before, and it's so fun, it's so contagious. But two, like, you watch her and she just keeps getting better. She keeps getting better. She keeps adding to her game. You try and take something away, she does something else. So the evolution of her game, just, through however many games we played this season, has been really fun to see, and it's really exciting to see that, to know that, the future of the Opals is going to be in her hands because she's such a star already.
So Sammy, it's been a long week. You've been on the road for nearly a week. You had a tough loss to Townsville. You've been here in Canberra since Sunday. You go home, with the win. It is 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Perth, and a very special little boy called Nash is watching. And does Mama have a message for Nash?
Yes, I'm coming. I will be there soon. We're going to have so much fun. I love you. Don't be so naughty for your mama.
Merry Christmas, Sammy. It came early tonight.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
What a performance from Sammy Whitcomb. And as you said, Laurie, it was a real joy tonight to watch Jade Melbourne turn it on in the first half. Sammy Whitcomb turn it on in the second half. Disappointment, frustration there for Jade. She and her team, there's no doubt they're getting better. And again, if you don't watch the game and you just look at the final score and you say 14 points, well, another loss for Canberra, they were great tonight.
They were really good and really good to watch, and the way they went about things and the energy that they brought and some of the skill sets that we saw out there. And in particular, Jade Melbourne was just a pleasure, and she always has a smile on her face. I mean, she doesn't there because she's, but when she plays, she enjoys it, and you can feel it, and it's infectious.
We said tonight, at the start of the evening, this was a pivotal game for Perth in their entire season. They've gutsed their way through it, come up with a fantastic win, and Megs is with their coach, Ryan Petrick.
Well, Ryan, that has to be your gutsiest performance and victory of the season.
Well, we've only had 3, so well, just starts with a real obvious one. No, I appreciate it. Well, the first, we won by 35-10 at home. So, yeah, you're right. Thank you. Our gutsiest. Yeah, listen, it was not pretty for a long time there, and eventually we started making some shots. But, yeah, you're right. We'll take whatever you said there at the start.
I don't know how to come back from that. What was the message at halftime? Because you knew you could bring a more improved effort, but you had to work for every inch of that.
Yeah, but even then, I don't think we were, and again, the tape might tell me something different when I watch it back. I don't think we were that bad in the first half. It was just, we dared Bunton to make a step back 3, so she did. We're trying to go under and on ball, so Melbourne made 2. It's like, well, if Jade Melbourne's making 3s when you go under pick and rolls, she's pretty hard to guard, is all that first half. And then offensively, I thought we were getting virtually whatever we wanted again, we just couldn't throw it in the ocean. I think at one point we got to 0 of 10, 0 of 12 from 3. And for the amount of shooters we've got, that shouldn't happen a lot. So we're getting what we wanted, just needed to make some, and eventually we did.
So you've got a long relationship on court with Sammy Whitcomb, where you coached her when she first came to Australia in the State League. That's exactly why you signed her. That's why she's your captain.
Yeah, she's just a big-time player. And I think she'll say it herself, like her first 10, 15, 20 minutes weren't great, and obviously she has some foul trouble to deal with, but you put the ball in her hands with her and Sherfy. At some point, basketball becomes really simple. Can you put your best 2 or 3 players in an action and let them try and figure it out? And yeah, Sherfy and Sam were brilliant in Sam's fourth quarter, just running on fumes.
Now, just finally, because I've got to try and end on a good note here after you shut me down, but you were at the escape room yesterday, as we know about. So were there any lessons learned that you could bring in tonight in escaping from the Caps?
It's an escape room's not, you're listening for a sound, and we turned the industrial air conditioner on straight away, and we couldn't hear the clicking. So our team got spanked. We couldn't get out. We asked for 180 clues. None of it helped. The other crew got out in 15 minutes or whatever they did. So, yeah, if there's an industrial fan and you've got to listen for a sound, don't turn the fan on.
Good team bonding, nonetheless. Well done tonight, Ryan. Merry Christmas, and enjoy getting back home to the home court.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thanks to Ryan Petrick. Fair points he makes too, Laurie, in terms of their first half. At one point, the Caps got out to an 11-point lead midway through the second term, but at no stage did it feel like the game was completely out of control for Perth. It was just the Caps had surges where they had a minute or two where they'd get a stop and make a couple of buckets, and they'd kick the lead back out again, and then Perth had steadily worked their way back.
And as he said, it sounds like the players stuck to the game plan. So we want to go under Bunton, and she banked it off, or we want to go under the screen for Melbourne, and she put 2. So you can't, if the players are doing what you've asked them to do, but the other team's just, making some shots that they normally wouldn't, well, you have to go, we're okay still. And then make your adjustments at halftime. And as we could see, they did tighten up on Melbourne, and she only got 4 points in that second half. So certainly the experience and the forethought of Sammy Whitcomb and Lauren Scherf just were the difference makers in that last quarter.
Career best for Jade Melbourne tonight. She finished with 24 points, 9 rebounds and 7 assists. It was a stellar performance, particularly in that first half, and here she is with Megs.
Oh, Jade, you did everything you could tonight to try and get the Caps over the line for their first win. How does it feel in the aftermath to unfortunately have another loss?
Yeah, I mean, it's disappointing. We put ourselves in the position tonight to win. But I guess that's how it goes. They went on a really good run in the fourth quarter. Sammy had an unbelievable fourth quarter and did what she does. But I think with the group, the belief's there. We put in a pretty decent three-quarter performance, so 30 minutes of basketball was pretty good. Now it's just a matter of finishing it off. So I'm sure we'll review it, and I know our first win's not far away.
Well, you've got Sydney in a few days, so a great opportunity as you come up against them. What things can you hone in on, particularly tonight where you led Perth for big periods and really had the momentum going?
For us, it's our defense. We're giving up 97 points. We just can't afford to do that. So our goal is to keep teams under 80. We haven't done it yet, but that's what we're trying to do. So in the first half, we let them have 47, but we were really happy with how it went. We did have some breakdowns, but if we can just hone into that, we're going to keep teams under 80 points, and we know we can score. So it's just a matter of doing that, and we'll review it and we'll get better.
Sammy had 19 points in the second half, really led her side to victory as captain. You guys are great mates. What was the matchup like? How tough is she to play on?
Yeah, she's one of the best point guards in Australia for a reason. She's unbelievable. She started going to the rim, and then I went under a screen and she hits it. So she's such a tough matchup, but it was a great battle. I really respect Sammy's game, love her as a friend, and yeah, she was awesome tonight.
Jade, you were awesome tonight. May that win be a few days away. Merry Christmas to you, and hopefully that's what is coming your way in your Christmas sack.
It's coming, Caps fans. Merry Christmas.
That is going to be a great game Friday night.
Here. What a game, though, really.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was, and then to see